So would you say that also prayer, meditation, and channeling have helped you in your experience to keep yourself on the higher vibration of self-esteem?
Yes, I would always say that, because that always instantly takes us to the inner realm. And there's many people say that they can't meditate. They don't meditate because they can't meditate. They can't still or quiet their mind. And I completely understand that, because I am someone who also has a very busy mind. My mind is always making shopping lists. My mind has ideas. My mind is creative. My mind has concerns. And so even when I sit to meditate, those don't go away. And so I tend to do a process called contemplation, which, for instance, I might sit and look at a tree outside my window, and then I'll look at the bark of the tree, and then from there I'll imagine what that looks like on the inside of the tree, how many rings might be there, how deep the roots of that tree might go, whether they go very deep or whether they spread out. I'll look at the branches of a tree and see how many or how far they extend, what the leaves look like, how many seasons the tree might be there. Everything about the tree begins to represent some aspect of life or some aspect of me. And so while my mind has something to do, my mind becomes part of the meditation, part of the creative process, and it's contemplating, and I'm not struggling with my mind to make it quiet or silent, which is so difficult to do. And I find that when I do a simple practice like that at any time, and believe me, you can contemplate a chair and how useful a chair is if you don't have a beautiful tree in front of you. Your mind begins to be part of a positive process that's helping you to move along a certain way instead of just trying to tie up loose ends. So any kind of an inner practice is great for renewing that. And then from there, it's very, very easy to find that channel space from there. It's one little thought away from that contemplative space is the doorway, the threshold to channeling. And the mind doesn't really go away in that process, but it becomes joined, almost like when you join or braid two different threads. In this case, they're threads or filaments of light. And you feel as if something has been added to the moment. Something has joined you that is now also adding a bit of wisdom or a bit of truth. And you can just feel a subtle shift take place. Sometimes it comes along with words. We're very accustomed to thinking of channeling as words, and that we need to be able to speak, or sometimes speak in a different language, in a different frequency. But sometimes, and especially at the beginning, channeling is much more subtle than that. And yes, that can do a lot for us, especially today. I have always thought, as you know, I think the world of channeling, and I've had the benefit of it guiding me for so long in my life that it's changed me forever.
So when you say self-esteem is something measurable, how can we measure it in our life?
Well, I would actually steer away from measuring it, if at all possible, because measure is to compare something against something else, and our own human nature usually finds us lacking when we compare ourselves to anything. And so if we can avoid doing that, I think that would be better. But if we can observe it, if we can observe ourself becoming resonant with life, then our self-esteem is raised. If we can observe ourselves being not just human beings, but caring, unique, compassionate human beings, our self-esteem is raised. The moment that we contemplate life as important and valuable, our self-esteem is raised. So that without needing to measure this against that, or how well we're doing today compared to yesterday or last year, we can simply receive the benefits of it. You know, when we stop and smell a beautiful or fragrant flower, we don't compare that fragrance so much to the last time that we had the experience of a fragrant flower. But when we think of ourselves, we're right away comparing how we're doing today and how we were doing yesterday.
So what would you say is for you the importance of living with a high self-esteem? What are the benefits?
I think it adds stability to our life is the very first thing that I would say. You know, many times in our life we're riding a roller coaster. We're high, we're low, we're up, we're down. It was a good day, it was a bad day. What we wanted to work out, it did, it didn't. And that roller coaster can be very difficult every day, and it can really sap our energy quite a bit. So when we can refer to ourselves, when we can hold ourselves in high regard and know that we are unique, we're whole, we're complete, we are absolute, we are in connection with all things. Everything that we are, something else and someone else also is. We are responsible for our life. We simply have an ability to communicate with all of life. Then self-esteem becomes something that's very natural, not something that we have to achieve and not something that we have to improve upon, but something that is so natural to us that every day it's a presence. It's the presence of self. And that presence is extremely worthwhile and can benefit every area of life.
So what are the inner or external signs that indicate that we are actually living with a healthy degree of self-esteem?
That's a very good question. So when we are living in a higher esteem or in a stable esteem, we tend to have a more positive outlook upon life. We know that even if today is not perfect or things did not go right today or in a business venture or in a relationship, we can say, well, that was an interesting experience. It definitely didn't go how I had planned or how I had hoped. But tomorrow or the next project, I think will go differently. So when we're in higher self-esteem, we have the knowledge that there is the next time, the next opportunity, that there's always something else that's coming for us, another chance to choose, another opportunity. And when we are in low self-esteem, we're wondering when the next challenge is coming or when something else is going to happen to us and how to be secure and safe before the next rock falls on our head or in our life. So the ability to remain stable, to have a firm foundation and not feel like something is going to get pulled away from us, and its ability to respond to life and at the same time know that life is just life. Life will bring to us challenges. It will bring to us problems for us to solve. So our self-esteem cannot be tied to the events in our life. That's why it's so important to really have the self in high regard and not tie it to the things that are taking place in life. Those really are just things.